So hello class. Today we will discuss about the one of the very important topic of this chapter solution, that is you can see Raoult's law. To learn to understand the miscibility of two different liquids component together to make a solution, and what is the solubility factor when two different liquids are mixed together, we have to be go through the one of the important concept given by Mr. Raoult, that is called Raoult's law, and that is also a base and key concept to learn the ideal solution or non-ideal solution, and whatever the behavior deviated from ideal solution, that is also explained on the basis of Raoult's law. This law is also important to explain the azeotropic mixtures and colligative properties, the different concept of the solution. But before starting the miscibility of two different liquid component, we have to be go through the one of the other concept called vapor pressure. I don't know how many of you are knowing what is the meaning of vapor pressure. Students, vapor pressure from I think from the level of class 9th chemistry, that term indicate that encountered here there also in the on the level of class 9. So vapor pressure, sometimes students are knowing that the pressure exerted by the vapor over the surface of liquid. Okay, fine, that is the kind of okay. Huh? But actually the vapor pressure means whenever the liquid and vapor will be in equilibrium, means there should be a dynamic equilibrium between vapor phase and liquid phase, and in that situation whatever the pressure exerted by the vapor over the surface of liquid is termed as vapor pressure. There are different liquid around us which vaporize continuously, and the same vapor when strike over the surface of liquid in equilibrium condition, in saturated condition, that is called vapor pressure of the same liquid. So always vapor pressure actually depend upon the ease of vaporization or a tendency of vaporization of the given liquid. If the liquid easily vaporized or liquid evaporated, the vapor pressure must be a more, because more vapors created by the liquid at the time at the given temperature. For example, if I am taking a two example of water and alcohol, suppose we have one example of water another example is, suppose we are having alcohols. Suppose one example is water, one example is alcohol. You are knowing the water has lower tendency to get evaporated than alcohol. Alcohol molecule easily evaporated, and the vapor, there should be a closed container. The container should be closed because vapor will be escaped out and there will not be formation of equilibrium. So to calculate the vapor pressure, the container should be closed, and these vapors formed by the water molecule at the given temperature now strike encountered over the surface of liquid at the time, which will create a pressure by the vapor. The alcohol molecule also get evaporated, and at the given temperature when these vapor strike encountered on the surface of liquid, they also will create a pressure. It's simply indicated if the molecule of vapor will be larger in the given space, there will be more pressure exerted by the given liquid. So in the water and alcohol, we are knowing alcohol get easily evaporated, so the vapor molecule will be larger in the case of alcohol in the same space at the same temperature, so the pressure exerted by the alcohol molecule will be larger. The pressure exerted by, there is a vapor pressure, I am indicated by P naught. The naught indicated here, the vapor pressure for a pure liquid. There is not any other mixture now. This is a pure alcohol, this is a pure water. So this is P naught A, suppose, P naught B, and this is suppose P naught A. A for water and B for alcohol. A for water and B for alcohol. So you can say that the vapor pressure in a pure state of alcohol must be greater than water, because alcohol get evaporated more easily at the given temperature than water. That is the first key concept of the two different liquid. Because we have to mix this liquid, then we have to study the vapor pressure exerted by the solution also. So before knowing the concept of vapor pressure, we will not able to know what is the concept of the solution in the case of vapor pressure, in the case of mole fraction, and whatever the property will be there. That is another thing, but we have to first learn the condition of vapor pressure. So you can see the vapor pressure of a liquid of alcohol will be greater than the vapor pressure of a liquid of water molecules. Now we have to learn what is the concept. Actually, the van der Waals force, the force of attraction between alcohol molecule. If there is a stronger force of attraction between alcohol molecule, the molecules will not be escaped easily. The escaping tendency, the get evaporation, the escaping tendency of molecule actually depend upon the force of attraction between the molecules. If the force of attraction will be greater, stronger, the molecule will not go easily in the vapor phase. So you can say that now, you can say there is a stronger force of attraction between molecules, among the molecules, that is called van der Waals force. That is called van der Waals force. So van der Waals force is stronger in the case of water. So evaporation will be smaller. So vapor pressure will also be smaller. At the same time, the van der Waals force between alcohol molecules will be a lower, weaker. So molecule is easily escaped out and will create a more vapor pressure. So the first concept what I got, that the vapor pressure must be inversely proportional to the van der Waals force. Van der Waals force. The vapor pressure of a liquid must be inversely proportional to van der Waals force among the molecule of liquid. Among the molecule of liquid, the stronger the force of van der Waals, the smaller will be vapor pressure, because the van der Waals force decrease the tendency of evaporation for any given liquid at a given temperature. Now the second thing. Vapor pressure. What will happen if we increase the temperature? What will happen if we increase the temperature? When we increase the temperature, actually the kinetic energy of a liquid molecule will be increases, and that will increase the escaping tendency of the molecules. The escaping tendency of the molecule increases because of we increase the temperature, and due to which the molecule get evaporated easily, and that will increase the vapor pressure of the liquid. So vapor pressure of a liquid is actually directly proportional to the temperature. Now vapor pressure of a liquid will be directly proportional to the temperature. Will increase the temperature, that will increase the vapor pressure of a liquid at a given condition. So that is the second factor that will affect the vapor pressure, evaporation or vaporization of a given liquid. Will increase the temperature, that will increase the vapor pressure of a given liquid. There are some different main factors also. The surface area, but vapor pressure will not depend upon the surface area. Rate of evaporation depends upon the surface area, but vapor pressure will not depend upon the surface area. You have to learn it also. It is given from class 9th, I think. So you have to learn two different factors. First thing, the van der Waals force and temperature. Now we are having a third factor. Factor. Suppose these two liquids are pure. Now suppose we are making a solution by mixing some non-volatile solute. Non-volatile. We are using some word volatile, non-volatile. We are using some word volatile and non-volatile. Actually, this word indicated the volatile indicated the escaping tendency of the liquid. More volatile means more escaping tendency, means easily evaporated. Less volatile means low escaping tendency. And non-volatile means no escaping tendency. So generally, except sublime substance, solid solutes are termed as non-volatile. Except sublime substance, solid solutes are termed as non-volatile. So if we are mixing some non-volatile solid solute in the given liquid, even they are not participated in the evaporation, the vapor pressure overall will be decreases. Because the escaping tendency of any given liquid, hindered, prohibited by non-volatile solute. Even they in themselves not participated in the escaping tendency, evaporation, and they also hinder the evaporation process of a given liquid. So the amount of non-volatile solute added at a given temperature will decrease the vapor pressure of a given liquid. So vapor pressure is actually inversely proportional to the amount of non-volatile solute. That is actually solid solute. Amount of non-volatile solute. So student, this is about the first basic concept to learn about the Raoult's law. What is the meaning of volatile? How the evaporation affected the two different liquids? What are the different factors that should be there that will be affect the rate of evaporation, the vapor pressure of any given liquid? Now we have to learn. Now we are able to learn what is the meaning of Raoult's law. Actually, he is given the relation between the partial pressure and mole fraction of a given volatile liquids. As Henry law, he was given the relation between the partial pressure of a gas between the mole fraction of a gas in the liquid. The same way, Raoult actually given the relationship between partial pressure of any liquid, any component in a liquid to the mole fraction of a same liquid in the solution. So you have to learn how this will happen. For that, I am making here again two different liquids. Suppose liquid A, liquid B, and there is some vapors of liquids. You can see. Suppose liquid B is more volatile. Than liquid A. Suppose liquid B is more volatile than liquid A. I am just assuming these things. Actually, the two different liquids, they must have a different tendency of escape. There is different tendency of evaporation. So must be one of the liquid will be a more volatile, the another will be a less volatile. So I am just taking assumption the liquid B is a more volatile. This is a partial pressure, this is vapor pressure of liquid A in a pure condition. That's why I am writing here P naught B, and this is P naught A. This is P naught A. The vapor pressure of B in a pure condition, the vapor pressure of A in a pure condition. The vaporization of this liquid is always depend upon the molecules of A. So there is mole fraction termed as XA, and there is mole fraction termed as XB. XA and XB. The mole fraction XA and XB, when these two liquids are mixed together, there is one solution formed. There is one solution formed in which the vapors created by the solution must be contain the vapor of both the liquid, because solution having both the components now. Solution having both the components, this is called solution A plus solution B, and now this vapor having, that is called a vapor pressure P. I am writing here P total, because the vapor are having a vapor of actually A and vapor of B, that is called vapor of a solution. Solution having both the components, so it must be equal to PA and plus PB. Learn it first time. Learn it. What? This is a partial. Now I am using the term partial vapor pressure of A and partial vapor pressure of B, and sum of both the partial pressure will be total vapor pressure of the solution. P total means vapor pressure of the solution which having the partial pressure of A and partial pressure of B. That was the vapor pressure of B in a pure condition, that is termed as P naught B. Now we have to be know the vaporization, the tendency of vaporization or evaporation is actually depend upon the components of A. Whatever the molecules of vapors are there of A or B, that actually depend upon the what is the tendency of evaporation of A और यूपरेशन ऑफ बी. सीधे सीधे शब्दों में ए कितना यूपरेट होगा उतना वेपर आएगा ए का मॉलिक्यूल का, बी कितना यूपरेट होगा उतना मॉलिक्यूल आएगा बी के वेपर का. मतलब कि पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ जो ए होगा वो ए के वेपर पर डिपेंड करेगा, पार्शियल प्रेशर ऑफ जो बी होगा वो बी के वेपर पर डिपेंड करेगा. आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग अ सिंपल एक्सप्लेनेशन. The partial vapor pressure of A will only depend upon the vapor of A molecules, and same way the partial vapor pressure of B will depend upon only a vapor of B molecules. That's why the PA must be proportional to the mole fraction of the same component. Therefore, or it can be write as P equal to P naught A. When we remove the proportionality sign, we are using a constant term. These are the constant because there is no any other component. There is a single component. So whatever the pressure exerted, that will be constant. This can be actually mixing of two different components. So P naught A into XA. So PA will be the partial pressure of A will be the product of mole fraction of A and vapor pressure of A in a pure condition. That will be similar for the next one, and PB proportional to XB. Therefore, PB equal to P naught B into XB. So I'm just taking the simple example. There is two different component. This is a binary solution. This is a binary solution. There is a vapor of two different components, component of A, component of B. This is we get it by mixing up two different components liquid A and B. There is only one component of liquid, one component of vapor, one component of liquid, one component of vapor. But when we are mixing these two liquid, we are having a solution, two different components, and vapor of two different components. The vapor of A, vapor of B. Xa and Xb are the mole fraction of a first component in the liquid. Xb is the mole fraction of B, second component in the liquid. And we are knowing the Xa plus Xb must be always 1. We are knowing now the sum of mole fraction of all components always unity. For any given liquid, for any given solution, the sum of all component of mole fraction always will be unity. So mole fraction of first component and B component must be at 1. So from the Raoult's law, you can observe that the partial pressure of a component A is actually directly proportional to the mole fraction of the same component in the liquid. I am many times using this term, the mole fraction of A in the liquid. So this is actually the mole fraction of A in the liquid. There is also in vapor, there is also a vapor of A, vapor of B. But I am not using the mole fraction of A in the vapor phase. This is a mole fraction of A is a liquid phase. There are two different types of terms. So I will explain again. We'll explain about the vapor again. But now just learn. So according to Raoult's law, the partial pressure of the component, any component, is actually directly proportional to the mole fraction of the same component in the liquid phase. Or we can write as the partial pressure of any component is the product of the vapor pressure of the same component in the pure condition and mole fraction of the same component. So we are knowing P total is the PA plus PB. P total is the PA plus PB. Then it can be write as P total equal to P equal to P naught A plus XA. P naught XA, sorry, and PB equal to P naught B or into XB. This is the first formula of Raoult's law. P total equal to P naught A XA plus P naught B XB. But this formula can be calculated, can be evolved in the terms of any one of the component of mole fraction. Actually, I am taking initially the B is a more volatile. So you can learn now, if B is a more volatile, then in this solution, B will be more evaporated also. B more volatile, so component A and component B out of B will be easily evaporated. So all the vapors, there is a larger fraction of B vapors than A vapors. The molecules in a vapor phase must be greater in amount of B molecules of B, because B having a greater volatility, greater escaping tendency. So in this vapor there is more molecules of B than A molecules. So I am just substituting the mole fraction of A by B. How? Just see here. If Xa plus Xb equal to 1, then you can write now Xa equal to 1 minus Xb. So in the same equation, instead of Xa, we can write 1 minus Xb. So formula will be P total will be P naught A 1 minus Xb plus P naught B Xb. The formula will be P total equal to P naught A 1 minus XB plus P naught B XB. Just rearrange this formula and we'll get that P naught A minus P naught A XB plus P naught B XB. P naught A XB and P naught B XB. We can take XB as a common, then we'll get there is a formula P naught A minus P naught A XB plus P naught B XB. So if we taking up XB as a common, so what will get? We can take just rearrange the formula and get the formula in the terms of actually one of the mole fraction. We are having 1 minus XB plus, then just multiply the term and rearrange the formula. What you can take as a common, like P naught A minus P naught A XB. So XB can be common, then you can write as now P naught B minus P naught A, because P naught A is a minus sign is here. So if we take a common P XB, then you can write as P naught B, that is a plus, minus P naught A, XB common, and there is a P naught A. Just take the formula. The formula will be P total P naught A plus P naught B minus P naught A XB. I am taking XB as a common, and there will be P naught A plus P naught B minus P naught A and XB as a common. This is the single formula of Raoult's law. Indicated that the total vapor pressure is always depend upon the mole fraction of any one of the component. The total vapor pressure is always depend upon the mole fraction of any one of the component. You can see there is only one mole fraction, and this is actually the result of assumption which one is a more volatile. If B is more volatile, there will be XB. If A will be more volatile, there will be XA. The same formula can be rearranged in the term of XA. So according to Raoult's law, the total pressure is actually based on these three things. Next lecture also will depend upon the Raoult's law second part. We'll discuss the graph of Raoult's law, the applications and significance of Raoult's law, then we'll start the ideal linearity solution. In this lecture, I am just taking the only explanation of the sum of the part of Raoult's law and vapor pressure. In next lecture, there we'll explain about the graph. We'll again explain about the some formula. Okay, and what are the significance of graph in the next lecture. Okay, so try to revise these things first, then we'll start the next lecture. Thank you.